Hey there and welcome. Have you ever felt like you're just stuck using the same words over and over again? Well, today we're gonna fix that. We're about to open up a toolkit with 20 really powerful words that are gonna make your English sound so much more precise, so much more impactful. Let's get started. So, you might be thinking, how can just 20 words really change how I speak? And that's a fair question. But see, this isn't about just memorizing a list. It's about getting the feel for the nuance, the real context behind each one. When you truly master these, you're not just learning words, you're actually upgrading your entire communication style. All right, first up, we're diving into the action words, verbs. You should think of verbs as the engine in your sentences. They're what really drive the meaning forward. Getting these 7 verbs down is a huge step toward making your speech way more dynamic and interesting. Our first verb is disclose. Now, to disclose something means you're making secret information public. It's a little more formal than just saying reveal. You'll hear this a lot in business or legal situations. For instance, you might hear, the company was forced to disclose its financial records. The noun form is disclosure, and if information is still secret, we call it undisclosed. Next up, we have secure. This is such a great, versatile word. You can secure a building, which means you're protecting it. You can secure a new job, meaning you successfully got it. You can even secure a bookshelf to the wall, which just means you're fastening it tightly. And of course, the opposite feeling is to feel insecure. Now, for the verb tamper. Right away, you should know this word has a negative feel to it. To tamper is to mess with something you're not supposed to, usually in a sneaky or damaging way. And it's almost always followed by the word with. For example, it is a crime to tamper with evidence. The act itself, we call that tampering. Our next word, infect. You've probably heard in the world of health and medicine. It means to pass an illness to someone else or to contaminate something with germs. You know, like one sick child can infect the entire classroom. A disease that spreads really easily is called infectious, and the illness itself is called an infection. Okay, here's a word you definitely know, pick. It simply means to choose or select something. For example, you can pick any dessert you want from the menu. There's also a really useful phrasal verb, pick out, which means choosing something carefully from a big group. And when you make a pick, you're really just making a choice. Now this one is a very specific legal term, indict. And notice the pronunciation, that C is totally silent. It sounds like indict. It means to formally and officially accuse someone of a serious crime. You might hear on the news, the grand jury voted to indict the politician. And that formal accusation, it's called an indictment. Our final verb for this section is dishonor. And this word, you can feel it. It carries a lot of emotional weight. To dishonor someone or something is to bring shame upon them. As a verb, you could say, his actions dishonored his family. It can also be a noun, meaning a state of shame, like he lived in dishonor after the scandal. Okay, so we've got our action words. Now let's talk about what they act on. We're moving into part 2, nouns. These are the naming words, right? For people, places, things, and ideas. They are the absolute building blocks of any good sentence. Our first noun is secretary. A secretary is a person in an office who handles all those important administrative tasks. You know, managing appointments, keeping records, that kind of thing. This word is part of a whole family of support roles, like administrative assistant or clerk. Next, we have trial. A trial is that formal event that happens in a courtroom where a judge and maybe a jury decide if someone is guilty of a crime. Some common phrases you'll hear all the time are, he is on trial for robbery, or she is scheduled to stand trial next month. Let's talk about the noun wealth. Now, wealth is just having a whole lot of money or valuable stuff. It's pretty similar to the word fortune, but fortune kind of suggests that luck was a big part of it. And a person who has a lot of wealth, we just describe them as wealthy. A forum is basically any place where people can exchange ideas. You know, way back when, it was the public square in an ancient Roman city. But today, a forum could be a public meeting or even an online message board. It's a place for public discussion or what you might call public discourse. I love this next one. It's a great informal noun, chunk. A chunk is a thick, solid piece of something, like a chunk of bread. But what's cool is we also use it informally to talk about a big part of something that isn't physical. For example, you could totally say, I spent a big chunk of my afternoon in meetings. Okay, this slide is a fantastic way to see 3 super useful nouns for talking about levels and hierarchy. Look at the cake. See how it has distinct levels? Those are called tiers. That's where we get the phrase top-tier service. Now look at the Earth. It has layers, things stacked on top of each other. And finally, the metals. They represent rank, which is a formal position in a system, like in the army. All right, let's move on to our final section, Part 3, Describing Words. If verbs are the engine and nouns are the building blocks, then you can think of adjectives as the paint. They will add all the color, the detail, and the emotion that make our language come alive. Here we've got two completely opposite ways of looking at the world. Someone who is pessimistic always expects bad things to happen. They see the worst in any situation. The exact opposite is someone who is optimistic. They're hopeful and confident about the future. These words describe a person's general outlook, which can be one of pessimism or optimism. When something is essential, it means it is absolutely necessary. You just can't do without it. Some other powerful words that mean the same thing are vital and crucial. A perfect example sentence is, water is essential for all life. So if it's essential, it's a really big deal. It's non-negotiable. Okay, be careful with this one. Infamous does not just mean very famous. No way. It means famous for something bad. Think of a notorious outlaw or a famous gangster. They are infamous. Probably its closest synonym is the word notorious. The word appropriate just means something is suitable or proper for a certain situation. Some good synonyms are proper and suitable. You might ask a friend, hey, is this dress appropriate for a wedding? And the opposite, of course, is inappropriate. And this slide does a great job of showing two really powerful adjectives you'll hear a lot in the business world. A data-driven strategy means that your decisions are based on facts and analysis. On the other hand, a goal-oriented person is someone who's really focused on achieving specific results. In both of these, that second word, driven or oriented, tells you what the main motivation is. Pretty cool, right? So, what's the best way to make these words stick? How do you make them a part of your vocabulary for good? Just follow this simple cycle. First, practice using them. Try to slip one new word into a conversation today. Then, listen for them when you're watching movies or the news. Write your own sentences using them. And finally, review this list again in a week or so to really lock it in. And there you have it, your new vocabulary toolkit. We've gone through 20 really useful, powerful words, so now the challenge is all yours. Which one of these words are you going to use first? Go on, pick one, try it out today, and take another step forward on your journey to mastering English.